That is Camilo. What's up, everybody? This is Enlightened Masculinity. It's going to be a brief episode. I'm talking about the upcoming IMC event. And of course, there's going to be just like droplets of gold and droplets of value in this thing, because I don't just make promo videos just to promote something. That's, if I do, it's going to be like a 15, 30-second thing that just says, hey, join. So we're going to talk some value here and maybe help to connect the dots for you. And of course, if there's any questions, it is going to be a short stream, so you should probably type them so I see them, just in case I don't really take a pause in my breath and give you a chance to raise your hand. You just write it there, and then we'll get to it that way. Mike Ducey, got to come to camp. Got to come to camp, everybody. Man, that's just the method. I don't know what people are thinking. I had a vision the other day. Maybe it was yesterday. I was thinking of, it was almost like remote viewing or something. I entered someone else's body. I was in somebody, just a generic body. Like, I don't know whose it was. And it was somebody that was like involved with Dragon's Lair, but they just made so little money a month that literally like that $97 was like difficult. Like it was, they had to decide to eat or, buy groceries or $97. And I was in their experience. I don't know who it was. I was just in their experience, and I was like, man, that sucks. That's a hard position. And then from their experience, I saw them messaging me. I was messaging them, and I was giving them a hard time. Like, you're fucking up. You got to ask for money. You gotta go out and sell more. Like, what do you do for money? And it was like, I got a perspective on how I approach people when maybe they are not in that best position. Now, on the flip side, if I start being so polite to everybody, because considering what I went through, how I sold off all my savings and everything, I sold my mattress, I sold my TV, I sold my car, I sold all my paraphernalia, everything. I sold all 10 of my 11 guitars, and then some. And then I hustled, and then I went out there and I sold yoga classes, and then I promoted myself, and I saw that I'm not going to make enough doing yoga classes. I got to do specialized workshops. So I got to go to the next level of the yoga industry, which I was like, man, all these beliefs, like, man, I've only been doing yoga for like 5 years, and I'm only 30 years old, and like my degree is in something totally different. All these ideas that, like, man, nobody does that in yoga. I mean, if you go to, you wouldn't do this experiment, but if you went to a bunch of yoga studios like me, let's say you polled hundreds of yoga studios, you would find that nobody was doing what I was doing. Nobody was cold calling. Nobody was traveling to go do workshops. It was just by referral. So if you knew someone in Nevada or Colorado, and they connected you, and then you maybe went and did a workshop somewhere. But that's not being a travel yogi. That's just teaching when you went somewhere. I was making a living touring the US, just weekend after weekend, organizing a tour in my vehicle, whatever, and making AZD events and trainings or whatever. So sure, there's some privilege that I was born into. Yes, I wasn't born in Uzbekistan. That's, wherever they're not making as much money in Somalia, Antarctica, fucking Quebec, wherever. Okay, so there's the privilege part of things. And then there's the part that I'm willing to do anything that it takes to take it a step further. Whatever my limit is, there's something more I can do. Like DC, who's in Albania and marketing his services to all the IMC guys to make video clips for them. He's making the money to pay for his Dragons there because he makes like no money in Albania or whatever. People that do Ruan, another example. He's not in Dragons Lair, but he's gonna be, because he's growing a TikTok account. He's got like 500,000 views on a TikTok account in the last 4 weeks because he had some skills, and so he's going to market that. And if that guy doesn't sign up for Dragons Lair, I'll kick him out of the affiliates program. But he's going to use that money. I guarantee it, because I've been talking to that guy forever. You'd be surprised how much I measure, how accurately I measure people's psychology, especially within this niche. Because maybe I would go to no, it probably works for every niche, because it's human psychology. There might be some extreme examples, but that's what you'd have to come up with. There are extreme examples for me not to be good at reading that, like someone with PTSD or someone that's on drugs or under hypnosis, or like real extreme examples. But basically, generally, I can measure what your state of mind is at, which means your emotional condition, your chronic emotion. Is it a temporary emotion? If I'm interacting with you over the course of days, weeks, months, I start to measure like, oh, that's his chronic emotion versus that's his temporary emotion. And then, just measuring where the person's perspectives are at. What's their logic about this thing? So they're in Dragon's Lair and they want to pick up more girls at the mall. That's their logic. They're using dragons there to go pick up more girls than us. So they're going to filter the teachings to through a perspective of how do I do that versus someone that's building a business and he wants to get more sales or something. And it's like, so he's going to filter and he's going to discard other things. So just the way you discard some things, other guys are discarding some things. I'm the guy that came to get it all. I wasn't discarding any of it. That's why I'm the captain. That's why I'm in that highest ranked position, because there's like, I used to, and recently I was a girl I was telling you about from Pennsylvania or something that I sent the No Fucks book to. Did I tell you I sent her the No Fucks? Yeah. Okay, just making sure I did that. Sometimes I forget to tell you like what, and it's not because I'm trying to hide things, but later it is perceived as I was trying to be sneaky or something. And I wasn't. I just didn't think, because the girl wasn't that important. But I sent her the No Fucks book. She got like 20 pages through it. I'm surprised she got like 20. And then she started hitting all these blockages and resistances because it talks about multiple women and whatever. And I told her at some point, I was like, ask me any questions. I think it was before I sent it. I was like, ask me any questions, because I'll tell you right now, you're probably going to disagree with some things in there. And I'll also tell you right now, I 100% agree with everything in there. I wrote it. I didn't write. Those were my notes of the lectures. I wrote it down, not because I disagreed and wanted to argue about it later. Like I wrote it down because it was impacting me. So like what I do, I'm all about what I'm doing. And yeah, she's saying, yeah, because she sees behind the scenes. I'm reading some messages and she sees me work out like, man, this guy's perspective. I can't just go on a knee-jerk reaction, how I respond to this thing habitually. It might work sometimes, but you know, I'm not in the business of being a robot for my job, being this biological thing that just like it gets programmed and then set it and forget it until you retire. Like, you know, so many people that I know. So this is an organic thing. We stay ahead of the curve by organically changing. So this brings me to the theme of the camps, the advanced trainings. So people join the Dragon's Lair. The next step up is the camps. There's probably a lot of micro steps in between. For example, there's all the recordings. Did you watch them all? For example, there's the white belt group and the beasting process. Have you learned it? For example, there's just so many things that even in the Dragon's Lair, there's book references, movie references. Have you done them all? You're never going to do it all. Like I still haven't done it all, because you guys got to leave some things behind for the present teachings. Otherwise, you're going to be investing in an iPhone 8. It's still super dope compared to, you know, whatever they have, the flip phones in parts of the world they still have. We probably still have, some people still have those here, but you know, it's the dope technology compared to the background dirt of the earth, which is basically you learn a Arash YouTube video and you're ahead of the dirt of the earth, which is like other people. You take like one idea from a YouTube and you're like so much more powerful than like everyone in your family, like everyone you know. You'll be lecturing on that one point that you got from that free YouTube video for like the next year, and you'll be saying, AZD was my teacher. I learned from you, AZD. Man, your videos changed my life. It's like, what have you studied? Well, man, that one YouTube video about this or that. What? I don't even remember that video. Okay. So, which the videos are great. I have a 65-page ebook just from the recent free YouTube videos, meaning like in the last year and a half or so, he did like 100 videos. So in 120-minute videos, I have a 65-page ebook of notes. That's how good they were. But there's just layers to this thing. Like I can also appreciate arithmetic and just do basic mathematics. And if they're cleverly set up problems, you could be thoroughly entertained by just some basic math, you know, tricks with arithmetic. But then I also appreciate calculus and what you can do with calculus, or trigonometry even, or, you know, you get into differential equations, and that's how they fly planes. They have to do, but if you don't know what differential equations are, I'm not going to take the time to try to explain it because I'd probably fail. But that's where I ended with math. So you have calculus 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it branches into different things. You get like matrix algebra and differential equations are like the next levels. Matrix goes into like statistics and whatever, which is a different thing actually from math. I don't know if people know that. So I'm real smart. I'm just throwing out words just so you know I'm real smart. And so leaving behind some things to join in the present teachings, you pace us. Let's just get to it. So this month we did what's called total eclipse. And I think that this has a lot to do with the shade and the shadow that is cast in a total eclipse. And tapping into, it's almost like the month before we did the Code of the Werewolf. And even though our werewolf code had nothing to do with the full moon, it wasn't that kind of werewolf that like turns into a werewolf with a full moon. Even though we used that for the graphics or whatever, that's not what it was about at all. But it's very interesting because then this next month is total eclipse. And I think that does have more to do with the moon, even though that word, I don't even think we talked about the moon at all the whole month. But the energy of that dark energy, that absorbing energy, that shadow it casts, that subtle, almost insidious influence it has on your life. Tapping into that, because we have darkness and insidious influences in our own life from within. But that could be used as a source of power. Somebody throws a punch at you, you can use that to throw their whole body. You can use that negativity in a way. You just got to know how. The wind is blowing right at you. You can turn the sail so you still move forward. It's possible. So there's an evolution here, and it's a change. So when I say like keep pace with us, we transition from the code of the werewolf into total eclipse, and now into something, I don't have a title for it, but I'm going to call it Cosmic Carnival. Cosmic Carnival. That's just my name. It's probably not even going to have the word carnival in it, but it's that idea. That's what we're working with right now. And it's so attractive to me, which is such an interesting word, because if you go to a carnival or circus, they have what? Attractions. Step right up to this attraction. And it's interesting because one attraction is definitely different from the next attraction. You're not going to have like two of the exact same attractions in the same circus, carnival, or whatever. Attractions? Because it attracts audience.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, it's so obvious. It's an attraction. Just like there's national monuments that are attractions. It's just a word to name something that attracts to it. It's like a noun that attracts things to it. Yeah, an attraction. Even a magnet has an attraction, and a repulsion. So it's just a word. It's not like a definite thing like that. It describes the quality of something. So I really like this idea of carnival. You want to do that because we don't have much time, I think. Yeah. And guys on Instagram, you don't get Dr. Dabs, IMC Base 1 joined. That's Miracle J. Okay, we're talking about the camp next month. And shout out all the people that show up live to the Zoom streams. So as always, the camp comes with an early bird discount. We'll see how I price it, but for those first couple of days, that's what it'll be. What I like so much about the carnival idea is this separation. It's almost like a division of roles. Like in the household, you have a division of roles and it makes you more powerful. In the business, you divide the roles and it makes the business stronger instead of everybody trying to do everything, or one person trying to do everything while everybody else sits and watches. So when you go out, like I'll post a picture, and I have posted recent pictures of our group shots when we come to camps. And there's like 15 of us. One time we had 23 of us going out. And so we move as a pack, as a unit that's well organized, well led. The communication is real strong, and understanding. We understand each other a lot. So we move as a unit, as a team. Like imagine like a professional soccer team or something goes out and they're moving, but even then you would see them like disperse and be goofy or whatever. But imagine how they move on the soccer field. Imagine how the professional football team moves on the football field. They see the other team as the enemy. They see the audience as inconsequential. They see the coach as wise. They see the sacrifice they may make for the team. They see rank within the team. So in their niche, in their environment, there's some alpha tribal level of organization that makes the unit very strong, a formidable foe. And we go out in the world and there's no teams or tribes, but we're moving like we are. So let's just imagine a football team against a single guy. It's like, it's not even a contest. A soccer team against like three. There's one team of three against a team of 9. And it's like the team of 9 is going to win, So what I like about this carnival idea is the division of roles and how I see the theme moving, which I think I'm really tapped in with. There's been several coincidences in the last few days between me and AZD that just shows me that I'm tapped into this wavelength or this line of thinking that he's on. It's like if I were to say a sentence and you didn't know what the ending of the sentence was, but somehow I said it in a way that you knew what I was trying to, and you almost heard the voice inside and it makes you kind of think what I'm thinking. It's almost like I'm inserting the thought into and it's like, so when you follow the logic of someone, you kind of get where they're going. And so it's almost like in mathematics. If I give you the initial conditions and the problem, you should arrive at the same answer as me if you give me the initial conditions and a problem. So I'm following it right now. It could change, it could swerve because these themes change. It's an organic evolution that seems to organize around monthly events. It's almost like moon cycles, that there's like peaks, there's crescendos, there's troughs, there's transition points through the month. And it seems to be timed very well that the transition point is 2, 3, 4 days after the last camp. There's like a something, the void that gets filled. There's it comes out with a blast. Like the first couple lectures are like, boom, that's the theme. And then there's like all these waves that go throughout the month that just kind of depends on a lot of things, like what's happening and in the world, in the relationships, in the tribe. And each month is so different in this carnival concept where each man in a tribe has his own angle of things. Like I was just at the crystal store, by the way, I got you a couple little crystals. And each crystal, I mean, so which one's prettier? It's like each one has its own purpose. This one's for joy and protection. And this one is for all forms of love, self-love, other love, loving of your. And of course, we know with alchemy that all that love is within. It's just like how I love the pillow is how I love, like it's a mental concept, how I love the world, how I love the weather, how I love myself, my body, my mind. It's within that the love is happening. The internal is an internal representation of the external, because like the old saying goes, I've said it many times years ago, I used to say it a lot, there's nothing in the mind that was not first in your senses. There's nothing in your mind that was not originally in your senses. You had to sense it, and then now your mind gets programmed by what you've sensed your whole life. And the carnival theme, I really like, because as we move as a unit, the person 1 has his thing, his attraction. Person 2 has his attraction. Person 3 has his attraction. Maybe more people are attracted to the world's strongest man than the bearded lady or whatever. Nobody in our tribe is going to be the bearded lady, but you could say the guy on a unicycle or the guy that does flying trapeze versus the guy that lifts 1,000 pounds over his head. So maybe more people want to see that one versus that one. Maybe you would think everyone would go for the ringleader, but maybe that girl really wants to be with the guy who tamed tigers, or wants to be with that guy that can stand on his hands for like 10 hours or something, or that, who knows, the guy that throws his legs behind his whole back. Maybe that's the guy she wants to go for. And by specializing, you become a stronger version of you. You get something more to work with. By being general with your interests, your passions and hobbies, you are becoming a general kind of man. Not like a military general, but you're just like undistinguishable. By specializing, you don't have to stick with that. You can change. But by having that specialty and that rank and role within the tribe, in the movement, you have something to work with that you can cultivate, you can practice mastery with. And of course, the tribe gets better. It's more defined, more clear roles and archetypes. And it's very interesting because I think for each man's personal evolution and seeing that, because why I think it's so beneficial for you is because I already see how beneficial it is for me to think this way. So if nothing else, you could adopt my perspective for a moment. You don't have to agree with it. But the idea that there's a bunch of you on the stream right now, 12 of you, that you all have that specialty that is you, that I would DHV you. If I was going to accomplishment intro you and say something about you that was so interesting and attractive to a girl, there are things about you that I would focus on. Maybe you're 90% not attractive and only 10% attractive. Maybe you're 70% attractive and 30% unattractive. But I would focus on the attractive parts of you, and I would emphasize those, and I would create words around that, and I would make it real for the girl. And I'd make it real for you. And as you focus on the attractive parts of you, that part grows. You get more of what you measure. And you start to get rid of aspects of your character that are clashing with the attractive parts of you. That's what, like changing out your fashion and getting rid of things. Now, then you also understand that what is cool and attractive also changes with the times. There are some basic genetic code datums or references, like pre-selection is always going to be attractive. As long as the guy has other girls around him, that's more attractive to prospective girls than if the guy has no girls around him. But then what kind of girl is fashionable, and to what kind of girl is the reference, you know? It depends culturally, your age, what the girl is that you're attracting. There's so many things. So I'm very interested in everybody not stepping on each other's feet and trying to become like the same person. Why would this be low? It's plugged in.
I do that.
But in seeing how well we organize as a team, when one person's the center and one person's the wide receiver and one person's the quarterback and one person is the whatever the fuck, the safety return person. Maybe the safety return person wanted to be the quarterback, and maybe he was almost good enough, but it's just better for the team that the other person is quarterback. And you could join another team, or you could adopt that role here and become a legend, because you're obviously the best on the team at that role. That's why you're there. Okay. Are there any questions about this? I could keep going. I think I got the idea across of the carnival is going to be these mindsets, uses of your imagination, visualizations, and references through stories, through the way he's teaching. That's going to help you find that X factor that is uniquely you, your X factor. Let's say Jaime Galleana's X factor, we'll call it JG, his JG factor. We got Camilo, and it's got the C factor, Arslan Salah, and he's got the AS factor. Alex Cervantes, the AC factor. And yeah, maybe someone else has your same initials, but you get what I'm saying. We got the Alex Cervantes factor, or the Kusei powerhouse factor, that X factor that is uniquely, and it's so unique. And you just drill it home, that thing that would DHV you amongst any crowd, even amongst people that have the similar X factor in the world. And we get more and more refined on our specialty. That would be our attraction. That would be the reason why people for certain should come to us. And then also how we all work together in this, which is, of course, just taking a step back and getting a little more general with the podcast. Highly encourage everybody to base up with each other, figure it out. That means you may need to move. That means you may need to get your friends on Dragon's Lair. It means you may need to get on Telegram or Instagram, maybe messaging people, even messaging me, asking me, are there any other people around me? Because I know more than anybody where people are location-wise, you know, and all those strategies. Or the easiest and most straightforward, it just takes the most investment, is to come up in IMC, participate more in the gatherings, in-person gatherings, VIPs, and the people that are the movers and shakers of IMC that are going to be the most trustworthy and loyal to live with, they're going to know you versus getting known people. There's people in other countries that, like, they studied for years, they've been around, but we actually haven't met them. I can vouch for Martin. I can vouch for Diamond Bevel, but I haven't met them. So, you know, there is that difference. I can't get over that. And until, you know, we meet. Which would be very interesting. People in Europe, if you make a base in Europe, that gives more incentive for at least the coaches to fly over there. AZD is not going to fly over there. You know, so that takes getting guys on Dragons there and whatever it takes. I'm into giving the information. I want the people that are loyal to get the information. If you're loyal, get all the information. But the thing is that how do we test that loyalty? There's not like a battlefield that we go on. And so the loyalty test comes in very difficult to discover situations in life, you know, like just moments of honor, of greatness, like how you treated a homeless person, or how you stood up and defended somebody, your brother, or there was a guy, Satori PUA, long ago, who somebody was like talking shit about AZD, and the guy was like, no, AZD is way better than you. You don't even know, like, fuck you. I'll bet you right now he's better than you. I'll bet you a pinky. Yeah, I forget how he did it, but he did something like where he challenged the guy, and he's like, and that's my teacher, and I'll beat you, and I'll bet you a pinky. You can cut a pinky off if I felt. And he just like went at him, and the guy backed down, and so that gave him like some status. That was like a thing that demonstrates your character. And otherwise, yes, it's paying to come around. Paying doesn't give you the character. Paying just has you come around. So as you come around on the, let's say you join the gathering very early on, there's more chance that you're going to get personal attention. If you join day one early bird special and you're on that first night, it's a good chance that you're going to get talked to. You have a question asked of you. And that's going to give you trajectory, a direction for the whole month. The people that decide sooner get rewarded. There's a thing here. Imagine if you're in our position, we want to reward the guy that doesn't have to be convinced. Maybe he just wants help at how do I make extra money? Like if Jaime Galeana started a YouTube channel about his perfumes and colognes and his wisdom or whatever. It's not that it's going to blow up. It's that he has that as a video resume so that when he hands out business cards, they can go and see his video. Or when he Instagram closes somebody, he can send them a video of reference. Because it's hard to go down on your Instagram and find a video of something. YouTube, it's like that thing there. And then you start to build that side business or whatever you're going to do. Because that's all I did with yoga. Before I was teaching yoga, I made yoga videos for YouTube. And then when I later, as I was teaching yoga workshops around the country, I would send prospects my videos. And you could get it as organized and developed about it as you want to get about it. I mean, I had an email list and a call list of 1,000, 2,000 yoga studios, like apprentices doing shit. But that built gradually over years. It started with just Google the next door studio and send them a YouTube video. Okay. All right. So I could keep going. We have the advanced camp. Hypnotica is joining this next session. So that's very exciting. IMCBase1.com is the website for, we post the newest events are going to be there. And there's constant improvement going on. You want to join the tribe. The tribe is the winning tribe. That's an intelligence and a logic that I wish for you. It's not that you're stupid if you don't see it. It's that I don't know what you're missing if you don't see it. Because it's the winning team. When we got the winning team, when you got the winning hand, then you go all in on it, At least that's me. But I don't have a wife and kids. Some people have wife and kids and they don't want to go all in and whatever. I can say whatever I can say from outside of that, like fucking leave them behind. Or they'll follow. They'll follow. And to the degree that she doesn't follow, then you got to leave them behind because it's your life. But some people, then you get into all kinds of beliefs about, afterlife and Jesus Christ or, heaven, hell, and the opinions of my family and the opinions of my coworkers. And my whole business is built on me being a family man. If I left my wife, then I lose all my blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So the pain of staying with her has to outweigh the pain of leaving her. And that may never happen for you. And that's where you're held back. But you can grow as much as you can grow up until then. So everybody, I recommend imcbase1.com. This video will be released on Enlightened Masculinity podcast. Also, I don't know who's listening to it there. There's a bunch of listeners, but imcbase1.com. Join the email list. Check your emails, everybody. And get all your friends on Dragon's Lair. And get your money stocked up. Don't buy anything for the next 4 or 5 days and sign up for the next camp, whatever it's called, something themed about the carnival, probably, or something else. And I'll see you next time. Os.